Welcome to Donington Park for the fourth round of the Caterham 2022 Championships. We got a packed agenda, starting with Academy, both white and green group, Roadsport, 270, 310, and of course the big boys in the 420s. Over the years, this hallowed asphalt has welcomed many drivers, including our very own Tiff Needell, and a certain Mr. Ayrton Senna in 1993 happened to win the European Grand Prix here. We've just finished qualifying. Sadly, didn't quite reach the highs of Silverstone. We're on pole position. I finished 6th place, so quite happy with that. A little bit off the pace, but it's so brutal out there, it really is. But before we get on to the race, backed by popular demand, we're going to have another look around the paddock. The guys that don't get enough publicity are the guys that fix all the cars after every race, after every qualifying, after every practice. They're here until the last car's fixed. Darren's a bit grumpy, but it's all on the exterior. Inside he's a very lovable, soft, cuddly man. And we just bumped into Guy, who's qualified as well, first year in the Academy. How you finding it, Guy?
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah. It's a really good laugh. It's been ace, like you say.
And you've qualified 10th. That's your best. You're getting better every time.
A bit better every time, yeah. And I do blame you for getting me into this, because I saw your car at a festival and then signed up for this. So I do thank you for that, though, because it's been a great experience.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt your lunch. Meatballs today, looks very nice. David, you're new to Caterham and racing. What does it mean to you, from your perspective, brand new into the series, the championship?
The paddock's amazing, the people are lovely, everyone's been very, very friendly, very accommodating. There's so many things I don't know, so many things I'm learning as I go, and people have been offering help, support, words of wisdom.
Thanks very much, good luck this afternoon. Now, I thought my colleague, David Rook, in the Roadsport, I thought he travelled more than anybody else, because he comes from the top of Scotland to every single race, but you come from Germany.
Yeah, it's a bit longer for me, yeah.
And you started off in Academy, you went to Roadsport, then 270, and now you're in 310 with a slightly broken car, and you've won many races.
Yeah, that's right. I was lucky, and Academy, Roadsport and 270 was brilliant for me. 310, I struggle now a bit, but hope I will get a bit of progress in the rest of the season.
I've got to be a little bit quiet, because this is the posh bit. This is where all the sponsors go, all the VIPs. And if you pan over there, you see all the trophies. Hopefully, I'll get my hand on one or two of those this afternoon, but it's a little bit unlikely, I'll be honest with you. They're all a bit too good here, but we'll try our best as always. Get me a drink out the fridge. Nicest guy on the grid, Charlie Vincent. What does this all mean to you?
Just getting out, having some fun with some like-minded people.
This is the time he breathes in. You've got to get him relaxed. So George has agreed to talk to me only if I give her an ice cream. So I'm going to hold on to this until after the interview. Now, you're the second most glamorous person on the grid. Obviously second to Paul Castle. You've been working at Caterham for some time. You used to be a receptionist, now you're on the tools.
Yeah.
Your first race weekend, what do you think of it?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I've been on the tools, get my hands dirty.
They look very clean to me. Are you sure you're pulling your weight here?
Yeah, 100%.
So the paddock chat done, time for some sexy slow-mo of the Caterham Bandits and some of the marshals before the first race. Lovely weather, no chance of rain, that's for sure. Starting P6, looking for a quick getaway, and managed another good one. Bit hesitant into turn 1, but still managed to come out gaining a couple of places. A nice pass on Charlie Lower, who's having an incredible season. And mugged at the chicane by Freddie Chiddicks. Then we fell back where we're fighting for position. Paddle up number 2, Mark Jones with a really good move. We continued to swap positions a few times, and then there was a safety car, which meant the rest of the pack were now right on our heels. I kept getting done down the inside going into crater curves, this time by Mark Kendall. And we finished with the top 8 within less than 2 seconds of each other. It's such tight stuff. Time for Part Ferme to discuss what went wrong, together with the war wounds with your fellow competitors. It was another solid win by Jeff, Freddie second, and a good third place by Mark. Day 2 with more paddock chat coming up next.
Day 2, I feel completely battered and bruised, but the sun's out. In fact, I've never felt so battered and bruised having a car that's perfectly intact. It was a really intense race, but all the Caterham races throughout the whole championship are intense. The wheel to wheel, nose to nose the whole time. I'm going to change my tactics a little bit today. I'm going to get a little bit more elbows out because I think I was a little bit too calm, a bit too timid, and let the boys come through a little bit too easily on some corners. So that's my tactics today. Simon Lambert, Director of Motorsport for Caterham. You've been around this championship for 26, 27 years. Have you got the standout moment? There must be so many moments.
There is, Paul, but honestly, it's easy. It's got to be easy for me. It's that very first win in Academy, my very first race, you know. There's nothing like it. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I was living out a racing driver dream. So when I got to the front of the field, I couldn't believe it. It was the longest race of my life. It was like about 15 minutes. But once I was at the front, just begging for that checkered flag to come out, and when it did, oh my God, the feeling was just unbelievable.
So that was the first ever Academy race ever?
It was the very first Academy race. So it's something I'm obviously very proud of. We don't talk about the fact that I came second in the series because that's a little bit embarrassing, and I've got an awful lot of excuses. So that's something I share with a lot of these drivers.
He's given me a few of those excuses which I've used, but it's fair to say the calibre of the standard wasn't quite as good back in the day, was it?
I think you'll find it was. Most of them have gone on to very successful international racing careers. Some are astronauts, you know,
Yeah, he's modest as well. Thanks, Simon. The far better looking half of the Chuckle brothers. This is Paul Castle. Fastest lap in Roadsport. Where did that come from?
Did some setup changes on my car. Undid all the bolts on the diff. That obviously made a big difference. Yeah, I don't know. I've no idea, but yeah.
You've got to be chuffed with that. I mean, you finished
the fastest person yesterday. Like faster than everyone else.
And what position did you finish?
About 13th.
Fastest lap, doesn't matter where you finish. Congratulations. More of that today, please.
Absolutely.
Blair McConaughey, one of the fastest men on the grid. Very tall as well, I got to say. You've got lap records everywhere, but the lap record I'm most interested in was actually at Silverstone in Roadsport last year. You held that, am I correct?
I did hold that in past tense, I believe now, yes.
Because there is a certain Mr. Paul Woodman, Blair McConaughey, fastest driver out here, winning championships, lap records everywhere. A certain Mr. Paul Woodman beat that lap record 3 weeks ago at Silverstone in Roadsport.
I've got to congratulate you. Yeah, well done. Anyone who's beaten that time, it was a solid time. So, yeah, congratulations, Paul.
Well, actually, there is a caveat that 2 laps later, Freddie Chillicks beat me, so I don't hold a lap record anywhere, and it's unlikely that's ever going to happen. I think the rest of them are pretty safe, but good luck for the weekend. You are super fast, and I see your name everywhere for lap records, so long may that continue. Gaunt Senior, Gaunt Junior. There's lots of friends that do this, but father and son, that must be amazing going away and doing this together.
It's pretty good. It's quite competitive though, because both of us are quite keen to outdo the other. But it's great. We have a great time bonding together on the way around too. It's good fun.
I couldn't imagine anything better. But Max, the obvious question: who's faster?
Well, it's a silly question, really, isn't it? We all know who that is. No, well, he's got a faster car, so he can take the glory of that one. But you know, if it was the same car, it would definitely be me, wouldn't it?
Well, it's interesting because you both came through the Academy, Roadsport 270, but you're in different. The only thing is you're in different classes now. What a shame you're not racing in the same race, but still amazing to spend time in the sun with each other on a weekend.
Well, we had one season where we were racing together, and I've got to say it was quite daunting when we were going side by side on tight corners. There's only one of us that's paying for this. That's how it felt. So I tended to back off and allow Max to take the glory, and it felt a bit easier on the bank account doing it that way.
So starting P7, which is where I finished yesterday, and I know I have the pace, but could I manage another elusive podium? I was looking for another solid start, but it was fair to middling, and I didn't expect one of my fellow fast starters to miss a gear and gave Mark Kendall a little love tap heading into turn 1. In doing so, I lost a load of momentum and I got mugged by the usual suspects, but managed to squeeze through and then work my way back to the lead pack. Back on their heels, and I took a very tight line trying to put Theo off under pressure, but he's very wise to my predictable move. But I managed to take him cleanly, but then going into the hairpin, there was contact between Mark and Theo, which sadly ended Theo's race. David Rook and James Cook both had a look. I'm a poet and I know it, and they both passed me. But I took the positions back just a couple of laps later. Then a great recovery drive from Mark Jones, and we ended up scrapping until the end for P4 with so many of the guys right behind us in hot pursuit. Mark flipping Kendall gets around everywhere. He's always so committed and so on it, probably more than any other in the field. It was a brutally intense race. Freddie had a problem up front and started falling down the pack, so now we all had a race for a real podium place. Then on the final lap, I overtook Mark Jones for what was going to be a certain P3 and a podium, and the yellow flag came out. I backed off, Mark continued, went over the line before me, and was awarded the P3. You win some, you lose some. Maybe I should have kept my foot down to guarantee the place, but morally I think easing off under a yellow was definitely the right thing to do, and there was no way I was ever going to take my mate to the stewards over that, so a brilliant P3 for him. I settled for a very hard fought P4.
That was completely and utterly bonkers. You do not get a second to relax. It's just nose to nose the whole way. If you try and slipstream somebody, then you get two people go down the inside, you lose a couple of places. It was really, really, really hard. I got the fastest lap overall, which is a good thing as well. The guys up front, they did a brilliant job of getting a breakaway, but we felt like we had our own race. Finishing fourth, felt like I got on the podium.